Today we're making one of my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipes, and yes, I have multiple. We'll get around to the other ones eventually, I'm sure. What makes this recipe special is the addition of sourdough. It may sound crazy because why would you want your cookies to taste sour? But trust me, that's not what this little bit of wild yeast does here. I'll explain more about that later. You can absolutely make these without sourdough and they will still be incredible. The starter just adds that extra touch that makes them taste like they came from an overpriced bakery or a charming little farm stand. To make these, you'll need white sugar, brown sugar, melted butter, salt, 1 whole egg, 1 egg yolk, vanilla extract, flour, baking soda, dark chocolate, and optionally sourdough starter. I have made these using this special chocolate before, and they turn out amazingly, but this is the chocolate we're working with today. First, I'll chop up my chocolate. You could totally use chocolate chips also, but having a variety of chocolate chunk size is just a lot more fun. Then we're going to combine our flour, salt, and baking soda in a small bowl. While I'm doing that, I'm also starting to melt my butter. You can do this on the stove or the microwave, depending on how brave you're feeling that day. You can even brown the butter here if you're feeling extra fancy. In a larger bowl, I mix the sugars with the melted butter. Then I add the egg, the extra yolk, the vanilla, the optional sourdough starter, and finally the flour mixture. The chocolate goes in last before the dough rests in the fridge for about 30 minutes. I made this the night before, so I could have it ready for when I wanted to bake them the next day. You can keep it in the fridge for up to 2 days, which is great because you can bake fresh cookies whenever the mood strikes. When I'm ready to enjoy some cookies, I shape them into medium-sized balls, about 50 grams, and bake them for about 15 minutes. Most people like to use cookie scoops, but I don't have that kind of fancy equipment, so I will use my bare hands and a regular spoon like a Neanderthal. Obviously, you could make these smaller, or even larger. You will just have to adjust the baking time a little bit and keep an eye on them in the oven. I'm baking them at 350 degrees. Baking them from cold helps them spread more evenly, but they'll still turn out great even if the dough isn't perfectly chilled anymore. And even though we added sourdough starter to this dough, the cookie doesn't taste sour at all. Talk about false advertising. A small amount of fermented starter won't overpower the flavor. During fermentation, the starter develops organic acids and complex compounds that deepen the flavor, much like what happens in a good bread. When baked into cookies, that complexity turns into a richer, caramel taste that makes the chocolate and brown sugar taste more rounded. You won't taste sourdough as a flavor. These cookies just taste deeper, warmer, and somehow more like they came from a bakery. That being said, they are still fantastic without the sourdough, but you won't be able to pretentiously call them sourdough chocolate chip cookies. I like to finish them with a sprinkle of salt on top. It adds another great touch and complements the caramel notes already present in the cookie. I've made this recipe by Joshua Weissman and so many variants of it for years now. I originally found it while trying to figure out what to do with my leftover sourdough starter when I just first started making sourdough in 2020, like so many of us were. I've given these as gifts, brought them to parties, and shared them countless times with my husband. They have become really special in our home. Hopefully you can enjoy making them too, especially if you have some sourdough starter laying around. As a final note, I just want to remind everyone that cookie dough is not meant to be consumed. I know that sometimes people forget, and I just don't want to be blamed here. I know it looks great. I understand. But the raw flour, it has E. coli in it sometimes. And so don't eat it. Don't eat it. Don't eat the raw starter. Don't do it. It looks good. I know. Don't do it.